Uh, that's difficult to say, but I'll tell you this. Overall, the community is getting much better. Compared to 2 or 4 years ago, the skill level, like generally speaking, amongst like creators it's much better. It's like not even a question. But we have a lot of people who are new as well. Like there's like I think
Welcome to the Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion. No Raptor today. He's currently working with right today, but we are here joined by our wonderfully esteemed guest.
hello.
Hello. Well, may I ask, who are you? What are you known for? And how'd you get started?
So I'm Fuujin. I've been in VRChat since 2020, basically since COVID happened, since it started. Um, I started by learning how to make avatars and assets for them. And then I made a YouTube channel. And now I basically focus for the most part on making videos and tutorials how to make avatars or basically how to edit them. Also how to fix obscure weird errors in Unity. It's kind of my specialty because I have a lot of experience, so I know quite a lot of them and how to fix them. So that's cool. I also make watches for VRChat avatars that work.
Oh,
Show the time. Have calendars sometimes, meaning they show date and month and year. And also, I made like a system that shows the current visible stars above the person that wears the watch on the northern hemisphere, because on the southern hemisphere they have a different star sky, right? But yeah, that's probably the coolest thing I've ever done, to be honest, in creation of in VRChat stuff.
oh wow. So, may I ask, what initially pulled you into VR chat, and how did you get started doing content and working on avatars and stuff? What got your entire thing
So
started?
ba right. So basically, it was like 2 or 3 months into the pandemic, and I was like kind of figuring out what I'm gonna do with myself, to be honest, because playing Tarkov all day and working from home was not really enough, especially socially for me.
Hmm.
So I remember there was this game. I think I saw it on Steam actually. I'm not sure. Called this game called VRChat, right? And I seen the Knuckles meme before, so I was like, okay, this might be kind of cool. Let's see what's it about. And I didn't have any VR headset at all. I had very little VR experience on like really old headsets that made me ill, which the new ones don't do. But anyway, yeah, and that's how I started. And I found some friends, talked to some people, got drunk a lot of the times. That was fun. um, and then one day I was talking to my friend. I was like, maybe I should learn how to make avatars. Should I? I still remember that actually, very concretely, like a specific memory. And then I started learning, and I had absolutely zero 3D experience. No Blender, no Unity, nothing. Like absolute none. So I started from the scratch, from the bottom, so to speak.
Oh wow. So, from you wanting to learn work on avatars, how did that lead as well to the rest of your project? From some of the things you mentioned to the YouTube channel, from when you first had that conversation forward.
Well, I started with basic edits of avatars I could find, like on VRCmas.com. That was a thing back then. Then I started kit bashing in Unity, and I did a little bit of modeling here and there, different assets like clothing. And then I was really into watches actually. I don't know, I just liked them, and I figured I might do one that works. And this was before OSC, by the way. And I figured out a system that you could set the watch manually using your menu, like a time, and then it would keep track every 5 minutes, basically, even between worlds. It was super scuffed, but it somehow worked. And then I had a Dreadriff help me to make it like better, much better actually. And then OSC came, and with OSC we could finally send time data from outside VRChat into VRChat. So that was advanced. That was huge, actually. It was huge. I also had to learn how to code in Python at least a little bit, so I could make these apps to get the data into VRChat.
Hmm.
And I always I don't know. I was told in my life quite a few times that I'm pretty good at explaining stuff when it comes to like teaching, I guess. So I figured I might start doing tutorials because there was not enough of them, and there's still not enough, to be honest, in my opinion, on VRChat avatar creation and world creation. So I decided to make my own. And yeah, currently the channel has about 370,000 views total.
Oh wow.
So it seems I am helping people. So I'm quite happy. And I also enjoy it, to be honest. I do enjoy it, making them.
Hmm. Okay. So, what have been some of the harder things for you to learn Mask through your time of making the watch and avatars and teaching yourself how to use Blender and Unity?
Well, Blender on its own is extremely difficult to get into if you have no experience prior.
Hmm.
It's one of the most difficult things I've done in my life, for sure. When it comes to watches, well, figuring out how to mathematically calculate. So the way I show the stars on the watches that show the current visible stars is that it's essentially a disk, and it cycles around, and there's like an ellipse that shows like a part of it that's currently visible. That's how it works essentially. So I had to figure out how to make it accurate, how to calculate how much the disk should turn. And that was very, very difficult. I spent about 5 hours just sitting in my room, just thinking about it, like really hard.
Hmm.
But I managed, so that was nice. Other than that, I don't like modeling too much, so that's difficult for me. I prefer not to model stuff. It's boring. I don't enjoy it at all. Except for clothing that I make in Marvelous Designer, but that's not really too much modeling. That's just being like a clothing making simulator. You know, you're just making patterns and you make it simulate for you. Basically, it's what I like about it anyway. I love Marvelous Designer actually.
Hmm.
I love it. But yeah, these are the difficult things I would say.
Okay. So, I'll say this or ask you this: when you're working on a YouTube channel and you're working to make some tutorial something to work on, how do you select what you're going to teach people to work through? What makes you choose your
Okay,
content?
so sure. Well, I tried to figure out what people look for the most, which is literally just how to upload avatars. It's the most searched, I think, topic. So I made those. I make every year a new one because it changes, right? Like the SDK changes, the Unity versions, and Creator Companion was a new thing recently, kind of as well. So every year I make a new one, and after that I just look for what people kind of look for the most and have most trouble with. I look like on like discussions on the internet, like Discord forums, and also my YouTube comments, because people sometimes comment what they would like me to do, and I'm like, sometimes it's a good idea, so I do it. And also I do, apart from that, like a really obscure but annoying and difficult to figure out problems. So I record videos about that too, because it usually takes for like 2 minutes, but it helps people anyway because it saves them hours,
Hmm.
you know? For example, there's like a really weird obscure error. I'm gonna get a bit technical, but bear with me.
That's fine.
When you upload an avatar and you detach the ID, so it's like a new ID, like literally for you, sometimes it still like thinks there's the original ID, even though you have nothing in there. It's empty. And the way to fix this is basically you unpack the avatar in the scene, you make a prefab, you put the prefab back in the scene, and you upload, and it's fixed. And it took me about 5 hours to figure out because it's so like not, it's weird. But I think this video had like for 1,300 views already in like 2 months. So I think, I'm not sure, but yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's a really weird error.
Whoa. So, when you're working on some of these, like the ones you mentioned, have you ever reached any
Mhm.
problems that which was hard for you to find or simulate to begin with before you start finding the solution?
You mean like replicating it?
Yeah, like was there a problem that's hard to replicate for your in order to be able to learn to solve
Uh,
it?
no, not yet, I think. No. Usually if it's like impossible to replicate or I just cannot do it or don't know how, I just give up because it's like I'm not gonna spend hours on days, days on.
Okay.
So no, not really.
All right. Now, what are the most common things that people are searching for to fix? Ask what are common Unity problems?
Well, sometimes it's something really basic like missing animator when
Hmm.
people export from Blender, like a fresh FBX, and they're setting up like literally from the ground zero. They forget to get put the animator on it. So I have a video about that too. And I think that has 800 or something as well views already, and it's like 2 months old too. So actually it does help people. Other than that, it's weird, obscure errors that people have trouble understanding because they sometimes tell you nothing. and you kind of have to have experience to know what they mean, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of inevitable, to be honest, I think, in this environment, especially in Unity. And I think if people who develop for Unity for a long time are watching this, they'll probably know what I'm talking about. But let's see, what else is there? Yeah, also really popular is a video how to set up like the humanoid rig in Unity after exporting from Blender. Because that seems to that can create a lot of problems actually. I can think of 5 problems already just like thinking about it that can happen, and you kind of know what to do to fix them. So yeah, that as well. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. So, Mask, you said you thought of the 5 things that could go wrong with the uploading a humanoid model. Would you mind explaining what some of those are?
Sure. So sometimes people forget they need to remove the jawbone, which is usually a random bone, usually hair. Also, sometimes the avatar doesn't have the right bones in the right slots. For example, sometimes it attaches chest to hips or a shoulder to an elbow and whatever. So we need to fix that manually. Just need to drag the correct bones to the correct slots in the rig setting. Sometimes the T-pose is broken, so we need to enforce the T-pose, which is like a 2-second thing, but you need to know what to do, right? You need to know about it. But because you don't know what you don't know. That's the biggest problem with avatar creation, in my opinion, when it comes to these weird things. Let's see what else. Let's see if I can think of anything else. Yeah, sometimes fingers are missing. Sometimes fingers are wrong, like the wrong slots. Funny, there's actually, let me tell you a story. So I have a avatar creator who's doing it professionally. She's making a living out of it full time. She's very good. She's very creative. I love her stuff. I could never be as creative as her. And we were trying to troubleshoot why her Quest version was like completely out of sync with the normal PC version. And I was on my Quest, like, looking at from the Quest perspective at her avatar. And I was like, can you check if you have like your hip bone, like your spine in your hip slot or whatever? Like, are those switched? Because that's what it looked like to me for some reason. And that was the thing, yeah. And that took us like 3 hours to figure out. So something so random.
So when you're choosing and making content, do you find yourself doing a lot of complicated things for solutions or more simpler things, may I ask? The kinds of things people
Both.
ask for or searching for?
Both.
Both.
Sometimes it's not necessarily complicated, but it's more about knowing about okay, it's a hot take, but these things can be a minefield. So it's kind of about avoiding the mines that you learn that are there, because stuff can get very wrong fast. The thing is, if you get it on a certain level after like a few years of experience, you can fix stuff when it gets wrong. But if you're like new to this, like there's no way. Like luckily we have like Discord servers that people get help on, or like watch videos like mine. But it's just there's so much that can go wrong so fast. So yeah. But yeah, I do both basically. Yeah, I don't mind either.
Okay. Now, of the content you've made in tutorials, do you have any favorites of that you've made, and why is that your favorite?
Do I have any favorites of any of my videos? I enjoy making YouTube shorts now, but it's not tutorials actually, most of them.
Oh.
That's just like entertainment. I was testing shorts basically for myself because I was kind of curious and I had a couple ideas, and I presented two of my favorite worlds. But when it comes to like the long video content, well, I just like when it has a lot of views and helps people, to be honest. Like, for example, the upload tutorials, because it really helps people, so that's cool. Other than that, I don't really get much personal about it, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I'll ask this as well. When you said earlier that you make yearly upload or yearly videos for like upload tutorials. How much has changed over year to year with the how to upload a VRChat avatar?
Oh, a lot. Well, so the SDK changes what it looks like, for example, that can confuse people. Also, Creator Companion was a big change, a huge change, because now people don't get Unity through Unity Hub, the correct version themselves. Now Creator Companion does it for them, but they need to know that that they need to create a companion and set it up correctly. Also, different packages for shaders, for example. Now we don't necessarily have to import Unity packages, for example, for Pyomi or Liltoon or other shaders. Now you have like the repositories like registered in the Creator Companion, so we just click a button and it gets the newest version. So that changed a lot for the better, I think. But yeah. Let's see what else changed. Oh yeah, also iOS and mobile. That's quite recent.
Mm.
Not every avatar can be uploaded there, but for some people it can be. Depends how optimized their avatar is. Quest, I think, is more or less the same. It just became more prevalent. Prevalent? Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, and I cannot really speak for Worlds. I don't do Worlds too much. I uploaded like 6 of them, but it's not that many.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So I have one question based on some of the things you've said. How different would be the Quest variant of an avatar and then the like Android iPhone variant of an avatar? Since they're both like technically an Android, is it the same? Like in terms of like how to upload and the requirements for an avatar, or are they different between what would be Quest and Android?
Okay, so when it comes to the actual uploading process, iOS has to be built separately because of, I guess, the different structure. I'm not, I don't know the nuts and bolts of all of this. I'm just like a advanced user, so I don't know how that works, but it has to be done that way. For mobile, I'm pretty sure it has to be, it can be, I think they changed it recently when you can have on mobile like 4 or 5 very poor avatars visible. And I'm not sure what the requirements for that are now. I'm not sure if they're separate from Quest or the same. So I'm not gonna say something that I don't know for sure.
Okay.
But this is like recent. I think that's like 2 months ago.
Okay. Well, thank you for explaining that. It's much appreciated. Um, I will ask this as well, kind of harken back to something you said earlier. I'm kind of curious. You said you sat down for 5 hours in order to get the moving stars to match up. How does that work? And did you like get a sphere of what those stars actually are, or did you hand make that?
Well, I made a texture. That's basically the northern sky, which is more or less a static star chart, and it just cycles basically what's visible. It's like an ellipse that you can put on it, and then the disk rotates around 360 basically. And every year there is like a delay. It's not like it's not like 1 to 1. 1 year equals one 360 resolution. It's a little bit less or more. I'm not sure right now, but that's the point. It's like a little bit of delay, so we need to take that into account. And I was just trying to figure it out mathematically, to really, not visually. I think it was more about just having an Excel sheet and trying to mathematically calculate how to project that onto a float, which is really technical, but I guess I cannot help it. The rotation of the disk is projected onto a float that goes from 0 to 1. So I need to figure out how to set the value so it rotates the disk correctly at a certain day, a certain month, and a year, because the year makes a difference too.
Oh.
Yeah, it was quite difficult actually. Yeah.
What made you want to pick that project up to begin with?
Well, there was this watch made by Patek Philippe, which is one of the holy trinity of watchmakers. Patek Philippe, Vacheron Constantin, and uh, the last one that makes Royal Oak. What's the name? Oh yeah, AP, Audemars Piguet. And they made a watch that shows literally the same thing. And I was like, damn, that's cool. I want to make that for myself. And obviously that watch costs like hundreds of thousands of dollars, so I'm not gonna be able to afford it anytime soon. But I can make it in VR for myself and other people and afford it. So that's what I did.
Oh, wow. Cool. Now, how long did that project take to do start to finish?
I don't know. I have no idea. I know it took like 5 hours to figure out the disk rotation, but with all the coding and all that, I have no clue.
Okay.
I have no idea.
All right. Now that we're back on topic on like avatar creation and your YouTube channel both, what were some of your early projects on both content creation and avatars like? And how did your work in both of those fields evolve over time?
Wait, how did I start? Or
Ooh,
I'm
what
not
have been
sure I
some of
understand.
your earlier projects you've worked on? And
Hmm.
how is your skill and what you do evolve over time?
Oh, got it. Well, I started by simple editing of shader settings and textures
Hmm.
and recolors. And then it was actually back in 2.0, by the way. I
Oh, really?
think. I think it was still 2.0. Yeah. It was 2020. I think 3.0 came like in the middle of 2020. I'm not sure, but something around, along that timeline. And then I was like, oh yeah, I remember this very concretely actually. I was in the midnight rooftop with my friend, and then I saw this guy show us like a hue shift. He went like his avatars had emissions like colors.
Hmm.
It's like an anime girl, cat girl, and he scrolled like through the whole hue of the colors. I was like, damn, that's cool. I need to learn how to do that too. And he was like one of the first people to do that, I think, and it's super impressive. So I was like really impressed. So that's how what I started to learn as well. So I started to learn how to do 3.0 and stuff like more advanced toggles and radials for hue shifts and all that. And this is like before UV tile discard. This is before blind trees. This is like way back when we did when 3.0 was such a new thing. And then I started also getting into a bit of a modeling, which I didn't learn, which I didn't enjoy that much actually. That's what I learned about it.
Hmm.
Um, then I started making watches and also kit batch my avatars. I also made an avatar for sale, but I think that's not really for me, so I didn't do it continuously. I'm just not that creative, I think.
Hmm.
Um, Visually. What was next? Yeah, I think. I mean, yeah, I started learning Marvelous Designer and Substance Painter.
Hmm.
I only do Substance Painter when I need to because I don't like texturing. It's extremely boring to me.
Hmm.
So if I don't have to do it, I don't. Um, and Marvelous Designer, I really like. If that software was not so expensive, I would use it all the time.
Nice.
Especially now when they have like in 2024 they added like an actual GPU simulation, so it doesn't run off your CPU, but it runs off your GPU.
Hmm.
That was a game changer, man. That was crazy. Like it was unbelievable because I worked in it before they had that. So and they have a Discord server, by the way. And one of the people who worked there, she was like, "Yeah, we were like so impressed and so excited to present this to people. Like, it's so cool." They were like genuinely like happy about it as well. Like the developers are passionate people. Like I can tell. Like people who make Marvelous Designer are actually like they really care about it. Like you can tell. It's probably like 20 employees, I would say, even maybe not even maybe even less. I don't know. But yeah, it's a cool company.
May I ask what is that program? May I ask?
Oh yeah, okay. So Marvelous Designer is essentially a cloth simulation. So you basically draw a pattern, for example, a t-shirt or just a piece of cloth, and then you put it on an object, and then you click simulate, and it simulates how the fabric would act in real life with all the folds and crevices.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, you can put an avatar in there, and you can do like fitting. You can do measurements, just like a tailor would. You're basically a tailor. It's a tailoring simulator. That's what I like to call it.
Oh, wow.
And it's aimed at clothing professionals, so they can like test patterns or like design patterns. Also, game developers, for example, CD Projekt Red
Hmm.
from Poland that makes Cyberpunk, they use it. Kojima Productions use it. Yeah, these two I know of because they had a case study on the website before. And I think that's the two main uses for this software. But it's like a subscription monthly fee, and I think it's $40 or 50. It's quite expensive.
Mm.
but it's really good at what it does. Yeah.
So how did you get into using that program then?
Tutorials, asking on their Discord server, trial and error. It was it, the entry barrier is insane. If you're not a trained tailor, yeah, good luck. Like it's extremely difficult to get into. It's even more than Blender, I would say, to be honest.
Really?
In some ways. In some ways, yeah. But if you can find a good pattern and you can like fit it, also it's kind of an unruly software. Like the fabric can act like really weird, and you have to kind of laugh about it and not be too angry because it doesn't always do what you want it to do. But it might be also a skill issue. I'm not sure.
Mm.
But yeah, but it's very difficult. But it's worth it for me because I don't like modeling. Like I'm not gonna model a skirt in Blender. I just don't care. So I do it in Marvelous, then does it for me, and then I sculpt it in Blender. That's fine. I can do that. And I also weight painting and all that. So yeah.
Ah. So you use the program to do the clothing creation per se, and then you fit it afterwards.
Exactly. You can do also UV mapping in there. It can
Oh,
make
wow.
like a really nice UV maps if you wanted to. You can also tile the UV maps for UV tile, which is interesting. I think it can do some baking, but I never really done that.
Oh,
It
wow.
can do actually, yeah, I did. I did more normal maps baking for the seams because it can do like a normal map that seems like somebody was sewing fabrics together. It's actually pretty nice. So I used it for that. Um, Other than that, using Substance is better for textures than Marvelous, I think.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Yeah, but basically that's what I do. I make the model, the mesh itself in Marvelous, then I export it and I work with it in Blender later.
Okay. I have a unique question for you as well. Someone who makes tutorials and stuff. What kind of tools do you use, and what would you recommend people to use for avatar creation, whether clothes or models or whatnot?
Okay, so there's like must-haves. Gesture Manager by the Italian guy that I forgot his name. Oh, he's gonna hate me so much for this. Uh, Star something. I'm so stupid. Like my memory is so bad. I love him though. He's pretty cool. We talk about pasta all the time. He probably hates me for that, but you know. Anyway, Gesture Manager is basically emulator of VRChat in Unity.
Mm.
So you can test all the stuff without uploading. It saves you hours upon hours. Like it's unbelievable. There's also an alternative for that called the Avatar Emulator by, I think Liuma makes it. And it's a similar program. So you can use that if you don't like Gesture Manager for whatever reason. Also, you need Pumpkin avatar tools. For example, if you work on your FBX and you override it when working with it in Blender, and it messes the whole thing up, you can just put the FBX into scene again and copy all the old stuff using Pumpkin, like fishbones and textures, materials and shaders and all that, in like 2 seconds instead of doing it manually. It saves you a gazillion of hours as well. So Pumpkin avatar tools. Also, there's the screenshot editor. I think Pumpkin makes that too. It's called a screenshot editor. It allows you to take really nice screenshots of your Unity scene. And I use that all the time to make my thumbnails, by the way, to take pictures of like my avatar or like avatars to make thumbnails because it's so good. It also like cuts out the background, just like makes a screenshot only of the character. It's so good. Um, what else would I recommend? There's also auto-optimizing things like dark. I think dark player. I'm not, dude. I'm so bad with names sometimes. I think dark player is optimizer, and that basically optimizes a lot of stuff automatically without you touching anything. I had a video about this specifically as well. For example, it deletes on upload unused blend shapes, which can help a lot with like a lot of stuff too. Optimization. Like literally deletes blend shapes you don't need, but only on upload. So when you finish like uploading, they're still there for you in Unity. It's non-destructive.
Oh,
And there's another alternative to that. It's called Ewan's optimizer, lazy optimizer actually.
hmm.
And this does pretty much the same thing, I think. It's made by a guy that works at VRChat actually. He's
Oh,
pretty
wow.
cool. I met him a couple times. Um, Let's see. What? Oh yeah, also shaders, right? You need Poyomi shaders, Little Toon shaders, whichever you want. Except for Quest when you can't. On Quest you have to use VRChat shaders. I'm trying to think about what else you need. You can get the Quest tools for easier like conversion of stuff. Quest tools like automatically shows you like, for example, fishbones, and you can like delete them from a list like faster. That's pretty cool. It also can convert textures and materials into Quest compatible like shaders.
Oh.
Yeah, definitely get Creator Companion, get the official SDK. Maybe not the newest, maybe one version before. Sometimes the newest one can be buggy, like the one that we have now. If there's some problems with context, I think. But yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for going over those. It's much appreciated. I'm sure that a lot of people out there would appreciate knowing those things. And I do have another question in terms of something you said during that is optimization. What would you suggest are good things for people to look into when optimizing avatars, at least in the modern era of Unity and VRChat SDK? Hello, I'm actually here to interrupt the episode you're watching really quick to ask you a favor. Please come join us at any of the other locations we have. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify, both of which we post our episodes and are very up to date on both. We have Discord where you go to hang out all the time, where you're gaming and shooting the breeze over with many people over that way. Feel free to come join us. I invite you. If you wish to support us, we have a Patreon where we post a bunch of random bits, bobs, and extra podcast every once in a while for you to go enjoy. Also, if you wish to support us while in VRChat, we're now part of the creator economy. So please come join if you wish to support us there. It's there for you to choose if you so wish. And thank you very much. And a special thanks to some of the people who have signed up on our Patreon, which are as follows, and I have written down so I'll remember. And that's a tough thing. Forbidden Zero, Niche, Aliquum, Future Oracle, Lesser Capybara, and Frozen. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Sure. So when you want to optimize things, it depends. It all begins with just sitting down and thinking about why am I doing this? What are the goals? And how much am I willing to go? And how much am I willing to sacrifice? Especially for Quest, because it becomes a game of sacrifices, man. Like Quest has 10 megabytes limit on upload. And also there's another obscure thing that not a lot of people know about. The same mesh, without textures, without anything, takes more on Quest build than on PC. And we couldn't figure out why that is, but it clearly is. There's like a tool you can use that you put your VRCA that you built on upload into, and it like shows you what each part of your avatar, how many megabytes does it take, or kilobytes or whatever. That's super useful when you're optimizing. I have a video about that as well on my channel. So that's like where you start. You basically take your avatar and you analyze like what's there and what you can do with it. The best thing for Quest, like the fastest thing, is to, if you're willing to not have toggles, just join all the skin meshes. In Blender it takes like a minute and it's gonna help you a lot, like when it comes to performance. Also atlas your textures so we can use less materials because draw calls. Less draw calls is better. And then you go to polygons, and less polygons also much better. Although I think it's not that big of a deal anymore. I think I heard some people talk about like Unity 2022. It's like much better with that than like 2019 or prior. I'm not sure if it's true though. Like don't take me on that, but that's what I heard. But it's always good to optimize polygons. And also texture sizes you need to optimize because VRAM. We don't have enough VRAM, and we probably never will, especially in public lobbies. So we have to take care of that. And then also fishbones and fishbone colliders. Like if you have extremely complicated hair and you really want it, I mean I get it, but if you don't, just like try to have as little collisions as you can because that's how you optimize stuff. And for Quest, there's like a hard-coded limit anyway. So we need to think about that. Yeah, I'll tell you what's not important that much when it comes to optimization.
Okay.
What it seems to me. For example, if you have Go Loco, it doesn't seem to be a big of a deal, even though it has like a lot of animations in it and it takes some space. Doesn't seem to be a big deal when it comes to performance. Also, big animations. I tested that. I had an animation that had 57 megabytes, and you can see it in the RAM apparently, but it doesn't seem to be too bad either. And when it comes to your FX layer, for example, if you make everything into a nice blend tree instead of 50 layers, you make just one blend tree, one layer. That's much better when it comes to optimization as well. I think VRChat said this themselves some time ago that one of the problems with optimization is that people have a lot of layers in their controllers, like FX layer or whatever. I think they said that like a year ago. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, well, thanks for going over that. It's much appreciated. At least I appreciate learning it, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So I have another question about like uh, since you said you go through discords and chat forums to find in your comment section to find what kinds of questions people are asking. Have you found this overall skill level and the questions people would ask in terms of like Unity and Blender, has it been going up, or does it all stay about the same with newer people entering the scene?
That's difficult to say, but I'll tell you this. Overall, the community is getting much better. Compared to 2 or 4 years ago, the skill level, like generally speaking, amongst like creators, it's much better. It's like not even a question. But we have a lot of people who are new as well. Like there's like I think a lot of like new people all the time that come in that they have no idea what's happening. And sometimes they just want to upload stuff, or sometimes they just want to change the color of their hair, very simple stuff.
Hmm.
And it's intimidating, and some people don't even have computers, like Quest people, in America especially, it's a thing when people have a Quest but they don't have a computer, like a PC.
Hmm.
Which for us Europeans is interesting because that's not really a thing here in most of the places, I would say. People usually have a PC. Yeah, but there's still a lot of people who need like basic tutorials. Like you can see that my most basic videos, like the lowest, like beginner skill level, that has the most views, man. It's just how it is. That's why yesterday I was thinking about just like trying to think what like the complete beginner runs into and how to, make a video about that to show him like the bare basics. For example, yesterday or 2 days ago, I recorded a video how to basically create materials and put textures on a model that you export from Blender. Because there's a lot of people that I see, even on like the Discord servers, they're like, how do I make my model look with textures? Like, what are materials? What is the shader? Like, they have no clue. So I visually like take them through that and I set like 3 different materials as an example so they can see how that's done. So I want to do more of that. And if anybody has like suggestions, watching this, just like let me know. Like this, you can DM me or like comment under this video or like comment on my YouTube channel, and I'll take a look, man. Like the thing about taking advice about tutorials, it's actually really valid because this is not an issue of do you know what you're talking about and should I listen to you from my perspective. It's about okay, this is an issue people seem to have. Should I make a video about this? And usually yes. Like I don't mind. Like there's not enough tutorial videos to be honest. You can never make too much, I think, of tutorials.
So in terms of your tutorial videos, how did you start with those, Mask, and how have you evolved your process in making them over time? Did you like start off looking through like the forums and discords and stuff like that in order to find those things, or did you just start a different way? I'm kind of curious.
Sure. So I started basically just by kind of knowing what I wanted to do. It kind of formed in my mind, I would say.
Hmm.
And that was like the basics, like Go Loco installation, how to add a custom AFK position in Go Loco, how to make custom dances for that, mm, how to do the upload tutorials, really basic things. And then as time went, and as I did stuff myself, I was like, this could be a good video. For example, when the method of direct blend trees came out by, I think it was VR Labs, I was like, damn, this is cool. I need to make a video about this. And I made it like, I think the same day or the next day, like immediately. I think, yeah, that has like thousands of views as well. I think a few, I don't know. But yeah, people watch that too.
Oh wow.
So it's a matter of kind of just having experience and having the idea from experience, or just like seeing somebody post a question, or just like talking about, about these things with people, and then I have an idea in my head. That's kind of how my creativity works, I think.
Hmm.
My creativity works when I see something and then I create, because of it, or on top of it, or like continuation of it. I don't do stuff out of thin air creatively. It just never worked for me. So I usually just, do stuff when I see something else.
Okay. So with with the current creation sphere and all the new tools being developed from the community all the time, do you find yourself buying tools so you can use, or do you buy tools for tutorials?
Well, you don't actually have to buy that many. They're usually
Cool.
free.
Okay.
So, um, yeah, for example, VRC Fury, I don't personally use that much unless I have to. But I have videos about that because I know people want it, and it's easier, much easier actually, for new people to work with. For example, Go local installation is super easy there. You
Okay.
just drop a prefab on an avatar, you're done automatically. It's fine. I'm an advanced creator. I don't necessarily need to use that for it. I just do it manually because it saves me time. Because what VLC Fury does, it applies all these things on each upload or each build, and that takes a bit more time. And if I do it manually, I do it once and it's done. It doesn't build continuously on each upload. But like I said, for beginners, it's perfect. Like it's great. Like I'm happy they make it and it helps a lot of people. And the videos are getting views, so there's no question about people not using it. Yeah, I kind of lost myself there. What was the question again?
Honestly, I don't remember the question. I was too enthralled listening to you speak about your creation.
Mhm.
Um, I do have another question as well. With what initially got you started on making the tutorials specifically?
I have no idea. I guess I kind of wanted to, and I saw the potential.
Hmm.
I take opportunities when I see potential. That's what I do. I'm pretty good at that actually. I think,
Okay.
and I just saw the opportunity and I just took it because it's something I gravitate towards. It's something that I enjoy doing.
Hmm.
I like teaching people. I like helping people. I like making videos. I like watching how views go up, numbers go up. I eventually I'm gonna monetize it. Hopefully, that's gonna be cool too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just enjoy it.
Oh. Okay. So, what have been some of the most memorable problems the community has had with Unity or Blender? Anything that you've found and created content on? Is for you memorable?
Um, I see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture, in my opinion, is that people struggle with weird Unity errors that are difficult to avoid. Sometimes the SDK is not clear either about some things, but they seem to fix them over time. And it's just difficult, man. Like, um, this stuff is really technical, especially in Unity,
Hmm.
and a lot of people are just not built that way. I realize that. Just like I'm not built to model stuff in Blender, I just don't care. I just do it because I have to, and it's boring.
Hmm.
And for them, doing stuff in Unity is the same as Blender for me. Most of it, like it's boring for them. They don't want to do it, but they have to, so they pull through. And it can be complicated, and for them, so they need to like learn through videos or have somebody else do it for them.
Hmm. Okay. Now, for someone such as yourself, a question is there particular seasons that questions and problems will arise more than others?
Seasons? What do you mean by that?
Like times of the year that you see more questions brew up
Oh,
for you to solve than others, like springtime or every time there's an SDK update or stuff like that.
not really. What is noticeable though is during Christmas time. There's much more interest. Like my channel got much more views since after Christmas. That was like very noticeable for me personally.
Oh, really?
So I think that helps. Oh yeah. Other than that, not really, no.
Hmm. What do you think causes the boost in people having questions and looking for tutorials in Christmas?
People get quests for Christmas. That's all I see in it.
Oh, wow.
Also maybe holidays because they're at home and they have free time. Maybe that too. But I think it's mainly Christmas, quest for Christmas.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you for explaining that. I very much appreciate learning. So, how many tutorials have you made since the start of your channel?
I think 50 to 70. I think. I'm not sure. I have no idea to be honest. 30, 50, 70, I don't know.
Okay. Another question would be, are there any models that are easier to work with than others? And may I ask?
Um, well, I mean, well, if they're not in Japanese, that's easier.
Hmm.
Because if I work with a model and everything is in Japanese, that's difficult because I don't speak that language, right? And other than that, I mean, it's difficult to say. Every avatar is different. That's the thing. And you run into stuff you would never anticipate and never guess. That's the thing. Like every avatar creator will tell you this, but probably you learn new stuff you never seen, never heard of every day in this thing. Like that's just the nature.
Oh.
Even me, like after 4 years of working with avatars almost all the time, I'll see and learn new stuff all the time. Just nature of the game.
Hmm. Okay. So, what kind of models do you typically gravitate towards?
I actually do like the Western style, like the e-boy e-girl thing. I
Hmm.
think it's kind of cool. I think it looks really good. But I also like anime girls, but anime girls that look a bit older than teenage years. For example, the one that I have that looks, 20-ish. So that's more what I like.
Okay.
I'm not much into furries. It's not really my thing, except for one that my friend made. It's like a mouse. It's kind of cool. I usually use it when I go to furry world, so I blend in.
Okay.
Other than also memes. I like meme avatars. It's hilarious. I mean, memes were one of the things that this game grew up on. Like, got insane amount of attention.
Hmm.
So memes are fun. Memes are great. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. So, I have one question as well, at least in terms of working with e-boys and e-girls and anime style avatars. Are there any particular benefits or challenges between the two styles of models when working with them?
Um, the thing about Booth, aka Anime Girl avatars from like Eastern style, we call them sometimes,
Hmm.
is that usually they come in like characters almost, like put together models, and then people make outfits for them. And that's not really a thing in like the Gumroad / Payhip, Eagle Eboil thing. Because then usually creators there make a full avatar and then they sell it as is and people edit it themselves. I haven't seen anybody making, because we usually build avatars from bases in this scene, like a body base, and then you put a head on it.
Yep.
And then people make clothing, and shoes or whatever for the base, not necessarily an avatar. So that's the biggest difference, I think I would say. Um, the challenge when it comes to like difficulty, not really. Like I said before, if the booth avatar comes in Japanese, that's a bit more difficult because you have to translate the thing,
Hmm.
like bone structures and whatever. But other than that, I would not say so. No, I would not say it's like that much different when it comes to difficulty.
Hmm. Okay.
Oh, actually, one thing I would do mention, if you're
Yes.
used to one of those and you start using the other, um, for example, Japanese people, they're kind of separate, mainly because of the language barrier and maybe the cultural barrier as well. But I think it's mainly the language barrier. They use separate tools. For example, we use VRC Fury in the West, including furries. But in the East, like they more use like module avatar, for example, which is a similar system, but I think it's made by a Japanese person, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Um, and they also we use Poyomi, much more in the West. And in the East, they tend to use Liltune or some other shaders. The thing is, I don't speak Japanese. I'm not part of those communities, so I know only a little bit. But even from that little that I know, I can see like all the difference. It's not like a whole different world in a way. So that can be a challenge, like adjusting to the second one because you're used to a different one, right?
Okay. So I do have a question based on some of the things you mentioned as well. You said in the differences between the kind of avatars in the West and East. One of the things you mentioned is clothing. How in the East they will create clothes for models, versus here they don't. Why do you think that is between the two worlds? Why do you think there's that difference?
I think the both environments or markets developed separately and developed differently, which can have multiple reasons. Sometimes it's just people starting doing something some way and it just sticks. Sometimes you have to be first. That's a phrase from my favorite movie. But yeah, in the West, people, when it comes to like humanoid boy eagle avatars, people just make bodies as bases, and then they get different hats and different hair, and they just kind of kit bash stuff most of the time. When it comes to furries, you get whole models without clothing, and people make clothing for them. I've seen that. So that's like a mix of, well, not mix of both, but that's different. And then in Japan and like booth style avatars, they usually make a whole avatar, and then they can get clothing for that avatar specifically. Most of the time.
Okay.
And I think it's just because different cultures and when it evolved separately. That's what I think.
Okay. Now, I'm sure that is a interesting thing for new avatar creators or Unity builders to run into. I'm sure seeing the various different worlds and having to navigate things.
It can be very confusing and very demanding, and people get frustrated. Sometimes they give up for a bit, for like a month even or two. I get it. Like I had these phases myself. Like sometimes it's overwhelming. It really is. Like 3D is not easy to get into. It's just not. Um, because that's the thing. Usually in like game development companies, there's people who do only like one part of the process or a few. But when you're an avatar creator, you do all of it. You know what I mean? You do modeling, weight painting, rigging, texturing. You set up materials in Unity. Then you make it function using the controllers. Sometimes you make custom animations. You know, you just do so much when you're like an actual avatar creator, which can be extremely difficult.
So, if someone's now like someone watching this, or even out there in the world, are starting new and they're navigating the booth, Gumroad, e-girl, anime, furry style avatar bases, what kind of advice would you give them starting out when navigating this sphere?
When buying for themselves or wanting to create?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'll do both. I'll do both, no problem. So when you're just buying for yourself, just buy what you like. And buy it from a trusted source, like an Booth or Gumroad, Payhip, or Salify. Some creators have their own stores, or Jinxie. Jinxie is a big thing. Really good project too. I like it. But if you want to create your own, I guess make a little research, decide what you want to do, and then go that route. Like if you want to make custom booth anime girls, you need to be probably able to model the whole avatar. But if you want to make a Western style, like a furry, you can. I'm not sure what the legality is. I'm not sure if the furry basis creators allow like reselling for commercial. If people edit the models, I have no clue. So you need to figure that on your own. But for the e-boy e-girl Gumroad Payhip style thing, you just kind of look for what's a nice base. It's more about what you like, and you just kind of deal with the rest, really. And you also have to think about, okay, so I have this as a basis. What can I do with it? How can I edit it? Because a lot of people edit the body shape, right? Because they want a different body shape. But they keep like the bone structure and the rigging because it's good, right? The weight painting is nice. So they want to keep that. But they want, for example, wider hips or more narrow hips or a bigger chest or smaller chest, so they have to deal with that later. yeah, and just like take time and just do it on your pace, man. Don't worry, and don't be afraid to like look for tutorials on YouTube or such as mine, lol, or ask friends for help, ask on Discord servers. Don't worry about it. Like if you feel overwhelmed and it's like impossible, I can tell you like almost everybody has been in that position, the same one. It's just how it is, and you just need to get through it and give yourself some time and yeah, just keep on keeping on, I guess.
Hmm. I've in some of the conversation I've had with people both on air and off air, something that comes up is the eras of which people have started. Like, for example, the creation era of 2017, things were like a bit more closed off and less helpful. And then as things went on, that kind of sphere of helping and stuff kind of changed over time. Have you found the same thing from when you started to now, like the era of like people like helping each other, or being able to find assets and stuff when you started out versus now? They ask.
Yeah, I think there's less elitism overall.
Mm.
Um, there's also more resources how to learn, much more than like 4 years ago when I started, because 3.0 was new anyway, so I guess there couldn't be but much of anything. But yeah, um, yeah, I think it's much better in that way. Yeah, I think so, and I hope it's gonna be better, and I hope I'll contribute to it by making my videos and helping people.
Mm. Wow. Well, I'm glad that there are people such as you and things are a lot more open to learning. Is something I kind of see now with a lot of people when they get into things, at least those in the last couple of years anyway. The story of I was in a place, someone dragged me to do a thing. Usually, like for DJ, for example, they go into a Black Hat or an Orion or something, and they met somebody or
Hmm.
a friend who was like, oh, "I want to teach you a thing, or you should come do what I do because it's fun." And they get dragged along to learn a thing, and then now they're doing whatever that is. It seems a bit more common now, at least I think. I could be very wrong. I did play back in 2017, so bear that in mind too.
Oh yeah, me neither. I started in 2020, so I know people who were here in 2017, but
Mm.
I have no clue what it was like. I have no idea.
Mm. Okay. Oh, so with this with the current era of creation and stuff, since you're like sifting through all the forums and discords and stuff for this, do you see it changing or altering at all in terms of like the kind of skills and stuff you would need to build and stuff in the next year or so, may I ask? Have you noticed any trends that are going on currently?
Um, well, OSC was a big new thing that you needed to learn how to work with, and it's quite difficult because it's specific, I guess, let's say. Other than that, not really. Avatars didn't change much since like blend trees. Blend trees were huge.
Hmm.
Other than and VRC Fury, well, VRC Fury has been around for a while, but yeah, I mean, not really. No, it's not really that big of a leap. Like the leap from SDK 2 to SDK 3 was insane. It's like going from high school level to like government top secret laboratory of sciences with UFOs flying and nobody needs, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a huge, big leap, which is really cool. I love it. So that was huge when it comes to the learning curve, I guess, and stuff you needed to know. But other than that, no, not really.
Hmm. Okay. So are there any current trends you think people just starting out now should pay attention to learn or pick up?
Um, I would say learn the basics, like how to get the SDK properly in the project, how to, use Create a Companion. It's gonna make your life easier. Use how to learn how to use Gesture Manager for emulating in Unity, so you don't have to upload stuff all the time. And if you need to upload everything, just build and test. We can do it on Android apparently now, so that's
Hmm.
cool. Other than that, not really. Like I don't really, nothing really comes to mind.
Okay. Oh. Well, last couple of questions before we start wrapping up. First of which is the name you use, where did it come from, and why do you still use it?
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy VIII. I played it as a kid. It's one of the reasons why I speak English on this level.
Oh, really?
I love Final Fantasy, man. I love it. And I just kind of kept with it. I never really thought about changing it in the last 15 years. Yeah, something like that.
Oh wow. And the avatar you're in, why do you use it? Why did you choose it? Is there anything about it that means anything to you?
Sure. So the original Avatar was made by Durs. It was made a long time ago, 2018, I think even, or 2019. And one of the first really nice avatars I found in this game in his avatar world. I was like, damn, this is nice. And to this day, it's hands down one of the best looking avatars I've ever seen, in my own personal opinion, anecdotally. It's just so good. And the guy now works on Call of Duty. Like he literally works in the game studio. So, he's really good at what he does.
Oh wow.
So I took the avatar because he actually made it publicly available, like the Unity package. You can just download it, and it's still somewhere. You can still download it today. And I removed some effects and I made clothing for it in Marvel's Designer. I added shoes because originally it doesn't have much clothing. It's like a fawn fairy tale fantasy character, but it's really nice. And yeah, I just like it, so and I also added the glasses. So yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, thank you very much for explaining those things. I always enjoy hearing why people choose things the way they choose. It's very, you can tell a lot about a person by how they present themselves in VR, at least anyway, the names they choose, why the models or colors. So I enjoy hearing that. So thank you.
Nice. Sure. Yeah.
Hmm. And if the audience wishes to reach out and find you or your tutorials or anything like that, where can they go to find you?
Yeah. My channel is Fuujin VRC, or just look for Fuujin tutorial Unity VRChat, I think. Also have a Gumroad, fuujin.gumroad.com, and booth, fuujin.booth.pm. I have a Discord server that people can join. I guess you can put everything in the description, right? That's what I tell people. Link in the description.
Yep. I always have links in the description, and everything will be for you right down there to click and run find. If you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description. If you're on Spotify, it'll be in the episode description. Well,
We love link in the description. Also
peace.
subscribe, like and subscribe, comment, share this with your friends. Yeah, I say this like in every video. That's how it is, YouTubers.
Yep. It is like that. Although, funny enough, I don't think we say that enough. I'm going to be honest, we rarely ever say like, share, subscribe.
You gotta start then.
Maybe we should.
Joe Rogan does that too, I think. Maybe not anymore, but he used to in the beginning. He used to say that like all the time, like after the podcasts.
Fair point. Well, like, share, subscribe. It helps. And speaking of that, we'll give you, the audience, a question. What is your favorite avatar? It could be a base model. It could be a specific thing that's a public. We'd like to know. And tell us why. Why do you like it? Do you still use it? Is it your main? Let us know. We'd love to read all about those things all the time. So go down there. We'll be there. I'm always keeping an eye on what comments are out down. So with that said, thank you for joining us. Everything you need will be in the description. We'll see you in the next one.
Water. It's only ankle deep, goddammit. No, it's higher than that. It's knee deep in my case. Oh, at least I know one thing's getting cleaned. It's a stream of it all. No peeing in the pool. Oh, it's not a pool. It's just a goddamn fucking setup. I'm just a poor old raptor taking a bath because I can't afford a bathhouse. Yeah, those bastards take gold coins. I don't have gold coins. Hey, feet are wet. Wee, 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 wee. Mom's gonna be pissed. I forgot to take my coat off. She's gonna be pissed. Hey, at least I did the laundry for her. She don't have to worry about it no more.